Live from WBFF in Baltimore, this is Fox 45 Morning News.
Week 18 in the NFL moves ahead after the football world stops, then reassesses its safety protocols following Damar Hamlin's hit. Well, joining us now for what this means for player safety, team recovery, and the playoff standings, sports agent, founder of DLE Agency, Doug Eldridge. Doug, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me, Tom.
Hamlin and health emergency officials, they were right there. They had the AEDs and they had the proper training. So this very fluke thing that happened in the NFL, though, made everyone stop and pause and now goes, okay, what do we do and what's next?
Right. I mean, this is, by way of analogy, it's the fire drill. You line the kids up, once a month, twice a month, whatever, in the off chance that there's ever a fire, so that if it does happen, you know what to do. And this was that fire drill moment. We've never seen this before. Never in my lifetime. Remember that Joe Theismann was the standard, the gruesome nature of his knee injuries, such that networks wouldn't even show it anymore. That was kind of the ceiling on this. And so this was a case of first impression, and it was a beautiful blessing that he's made it off the field. And as far as we know, 2.5-3 days later, is still maintaining an upward trajectory and recovery, God willing.
Out of all the thousands and thousands of NFL games that have happened, this is the first time something like this has happened. Will this set a precedent, though, for safety protocols now moving forward? Will we have chest guards like what they did in the lacrosse world, where you had to have EKG chest pads now for kids that play lacrosse?
Well, I think we're seeing safety protocols on the whole start to trend in that direction, even so much as, during the preseason and during training camp with the extra padding over the helmets that we saw that a lot of people mocked. But anything to stave off unnecessary preemptive head injuries and head trauma. Remember, it's not always something like this where it's a freak collision, an impact that if you were given 1,000,000 chances, you couldn't thread that needle again. In the context of head injuries, it's cumulative. It's death by 1,000 cuts. And so if inserting a protective preemptive chest plate would stave off that 1 in a million chance, I certainly think it's something that the NFL is going to consider. I mean, we've never seen it before. And I've had that Jerry Maguire moment running through the tunnel when your player's laying on the field injured. I've had an athlete, an Olympian, that was paralyzed the year after the Winter Olympics, a ski jumper. I've never seen somebody potentially die on the field, nor has the rest of America, which is why, as a nation, 300+ million people, we were frozen in prayer.
All right, well, yeah, flatlined twice. So, Doug, last question for you then. We've got to talk about Vegas, the betting world. How much money is on this? How does the NFL now move forward with this game? Is it tied 1-1? Because you think about these two teams, huge implications here as number one, maybe number two in the AFC, and depending on where they are in the standings.
Right. Well, I mean, you're talking about one team that was just in the Super Bowl and another team that's knocking on the door with the Bengals and the Bills. I mean, this has huge implications. And we were joking previously, if these were cellar dwellers, this would be a cleaner, easier decision. Just call it, stays where it lays. This is a little bit more complicated. It's the old phrase that we often say, simple, not easy. I don't know which direction ultimately the NFL will go, but as you referenced, the NFL is now in bed, pardon the expression, with the organized, legalized betting world. So it has amplified considerations to make. Do you replay it? Do you start it where it stopped? Or do you simply make the cleanest, but perhaps most complicated, and stop it where it stopped, call it a tie on both, and then what ripple effect does that have for the respective teams as they hard charge as not only into the playoffs, but as Super Bowl contenders, each of them? All of those were ancillary considerations over the last 3 days, as we all know. The focus has been on Hamlin, his health, and God willing, his recovery, not the least of which his toy drive that he started as a college kid with a goal of $2,500 has surpassed $6 million. Now, balance that with the potential hundreds of millions to be won or lost in the betting world. I think the smart money, pardon the expression, is that the NFL will not resume the game. They will use this as a case of first impression, assign a tie to both teams, and hope that they're never in this position again.
Doug Eldridge, thank you. We appreciate it.
Thanks for my time.
Also interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just unprecedented.
Yeah.